Hey there everybody, it's Mark Crilly. I'm back with another video. Today I am asking for your help and advice as I finally begin preparing to do a Patreon. Those of you who have been following me for a while, you may remember, boy, from a few years ago, I did a video in which I started to talk about the possibility of doing a Patreon. But I never did start it, and the reason is simple. I have always felt that if I was going to do a Patreon, I need to do it right. I need to put time into it and make it something that is really worthy of supporting. And I've just had so many books back to back the last few years, there just wasn't the time to do justice to it. But I am reaching the end of my latest graphic novel. I've done 3 of them in a row now, actually. And this latest one is all set in Taiwan. It's kind of my love letter to Taiwan. You can see an illustration here. This is not for the final book. I took some of the line work and just decided to, give you something to look at as I work on this. I'm coloring it by way of marker. In any case, I'm reaching the end of this book, and that's going to allow me a little bit of time between this book and the next, and I think I can invest the time in creating a really worthwhile Patreon. And so I'm coming to you with some of my ideas, and I want to get your ideas, hopefully today in the comments section, so that I can make this Patreon the best it can possibly be. Now, my first idea, I think that anyone who supports me deserves some tangible thing that comes to them in the mail that they can hold in their hands and say, yeah, Mark Crilly sent this to me to show his appreciation. And so I have this idea of printing up professionally some postcards, full-color postcards that would feature a piece of my own art that I could send to everybody, say in the middle and the top tiers. You know how Patreon goes. There might be a lowest tier, a middle tier, and a top tier level that you can contribute at. At least the middle and top tiers would actually get in the mail full-color postcards signed by me that would show, I really do care about your support, and I want you to feel like you got your money's worth out of it. And, if it goes well, I could possibly do a new postcard or something like that once every couple of months to continually show my gratitude. Now, the other thing that I'm thinking of doing is some sort of large illustration that shows my appreciation to everyone who joins, absolutely everyone who joins. And I'd like it instead of just being like a list of names or whatever, I'd like to come up with some sort of illustrative idea that shows the length of time that you have supported me, right? So that if I did a drawing of, let's say I did a drawing of a plant or something, and as you continued supporting me, your plant with your name on it would grow taller and taller, that kind of thing. I'm not saying that's the actual idea I'm going to use, but you get the idea. Some sort of illustration that actually changes over time to show how long someone has supported me. I thought that could be kind of fun. I've got an idea of starting a private Instagram that would only be available to people who follow or do my Patreon. And the main thing with this is I would like to start doing Insta Live, these live streaming things. Maybe I'm working on something and you get to join and see what I'm doing that day. Insta Live allows people to post questions and for me to answer them in real time. I have not done that kind of thing. I haven't done streaming stuff. Again, just so busy with the books and so forth. I think it's time for me to take the plunge and start doing some streaming stuff. I think Insta Live would be the easiest way for me to do that. So that's one thing. Another thing, and I think this could be pretty cool, is to do a monthly raffle in which I pull names, like literally print all the names of everyone who supported me on paper, put them into a hat, and actually do a drawing, a raffle, in which people win original artwork from me. And I would probably do maybe 2 art giveaways per month. So I think that could be something, again, you're in the running for something that is very valuable, to tell you the truth. I've got a lot of original pages from Brody's Ghost, different stuff like that I would be willing to part with in the name of making this Patreon a success. So that's certainly something I'm thinking of. Let me know what you think of that one. And giveaways of books, that's also a possibility. I feel like the giveaway of original art would be a bigger deal. PDFs of like samples of my books, lessons from some of my books, maybe PDFs of unpublished stuff of mine. That's certainly something, people who are doing Patreon are always trying to be careful about overextending themselves. And a PDF is just, I can make it available to you by way of a link or something, and I'm not going to be mailing things all the time. This one I think I would have to limit to just a few people in the top tier, I suppose, and that is the idea of art critiques, where you show me some of your art, and I tell you what are the strengths and the things that you need to work on, and my advice for, specific things you could be practicing to improve your work. I don't see that I could do that for very many more than, let's say, 10 people per month, something like that. Let me know what you think of that idea of the art critique. How much would that mean to you? Here's a simple one, featuring your art in my Instagram stories. I don't have a huge Instagram following. I got about 77,000 followers, something like that. But that could be a little way of thanking you. I would go to your Instagram, choose a piece of art that I like, and share it on one of my stories. That could be sort of something that I could do. Again, I can't spend all day doing this stuff, so I might have to limit that one to the number of people. People like the idea of art contests. I've always been a little nervous about art contests, especially if it involves a judgment of mine and as to who did the best version of something. But let me know if that's exciting to you, the idea of art contests. I could maybe find some way of doing it where there's, it's based on my feeling of the art skill, but then also maybe based on other things like originality, and just maybe the idea behind it and stuff like that. I've never done art contests in which I feel like if I'm encouraging somebody to draw something, I start to feel a little guilty. I want everybody to win at that stage because I've asked them to take their valuable time and put it into creating something, and then of course, because it's a contest, not everyone can win. So I got sort of mixed feelings about that one, but let me know what you think of that. Hang on a second. I'm gonna mix up some water so that I can add a little gouache. All right, well, we got some white gouache in there, and my trusty black Prismacolor helping me to get this illustration a little closer to completion before I wrap up this video. There really weren't so many more ideas. I thought one thing that could be a benefit of being on my Patreon is being involved with helping me choose the topic of my next YouTube video. And one thing that you may be a little surprised is absent from this list of possible things is the idea of exclusive videos being created just for my Patreon subscribers. I could do that. The truth is, as you guys know, I've made hundreds of videos, and making additional, I want to keep, of course, I want to keep my YouTube channel going, and indeed, if this, Patreon thing works out, I think I could get back to doing the videos more frequently. But in any case, adding extra videos on top of that, I don't know if I'm ready for that. What I thought I could do is make the YouTube videos available 1 week in advance for the Patreon subscribers. Maybe you can view my video 1 week before anyone else gets to view it if you are part of the Patreon. Let me know what you think of that as a possible reward. And that might be the last of my ideas. I just want to say in general, if you, even if you don't see yourself as someone who's going to join my Patreon, if you just have ideas, please let me know. I'm all ears, especially like did you ever have a bad experience with a Patreon? Did a Patreon ever disappoint you? I'd love to hear that. I'd love to avoid making any blunders. As I get into this, I'm trying my best to sort of educate myself on this. You can tell from what I've said. I didn't want to do this in a lazy way. I always thought, boy, if I'm going to do a Patreon, let's do it for real, and let's make it genuinely worthwhile, and ideally something that people would get excited about and say, hey, look, man, this guy's giving away original art. Give people a reason to talk about this Patreon. That is my philosophy. So thanks in advance for any suggestions that you can share, any advice you can give me, and of course thanks to anyone who considers actually joining my Patreon. I can't say exactly how soon it's going to launch. I'm hoping, sometime in September. Certainly by October, I would like to be able to get this thing going. And of course, there will be a huge benefit to joining early. As I said, that I'm going to be probably pulling names out of a hat. If you're among that first group of people who joins, the odds will be in their favor for winning a piece of original art. And maybe that does it for now, guys. Thanks in advance for your tips, and of course, thanks for your many years of support watching these videos. As I said, I remain committed to YouTube. Hopefully will even be picking up the pace of regular YouTube videos, especially now that I am reaching the end of this latest graphic novel. But I suppose that is enough for now. I really look forward to reading your advice, and I will be back with another video real soon.